So the other day I sent out a survey to 100 people that smoke weed, asking them just 10 questions, and this is something we do all the time. But today I thought it might be interesting if we go through the results together. The first question is, do you now or did you ever consider yourself addicted to weed? 98 people answered it, and 94% or 93 of them said yes, and only 5 said no. So that gives you an idea of who these people are to begin with, because if you were to go and ask any random person on the street, no would be a lot bigger, right? If I was to only ask my customers, you would have this at 100%. So second question is, how often do you or did you on average smoke weed? Less than a week, 1 to 3 days, 4 to 6 days, once a day was 12, 48 said more than once a day, and 27 said all day every day. So if we add these two together, you've got about 75% of people that smoke every single day. There's the numbers broken down. Question 3, have you quit? Only 45 people have quit weed, and we still have 48 people to go. Now this is where it gets interesting. What is the main pain you would have experienced or will experience if you never quit weed? And we have a whole bunch of answers here that I'm just going to go through one at a time. So I'm just going to read them out. Depression, anxiety, early death, shit job. It blocks myself from being fully myself. It stops me from reaching my goals and dreams. Cheap life, depression. So you can see we start getting some patterns. None of these people have seen anyone else's answer, and a lot of them are giving the same answers. So this is where we get a lot of insight. The anticipation of the pain. The pain itself is easy. A few sleepless nights, some headaches, it's all in the mind. I would experience not nearly as a fulfilling life, work-wise, my goals, and socially, I get the feeling. And know in the back of my mind that I would be moving forward a great deal more if I didn't smoke weed every day. The damage to my self-esteem, confidence of knowing that I need to quit weed in order to gain greater perspective on my life and advance it, but getting stoned anyway. One of the many pains I'd experience is the pain of sobriety. Traction in life towards a steady, concerted effort to achieve set goals. Not fulfilling my potential in life. I'm far from the weed already do 65 days, and since the first day I'm suffering different types of symptoms, most of them psychological, such as anxiety, bad thoughts, headaches and others. I've never been through something so intense and bad in my life. The main pain is missing the feeling of euphoria that I used to feel after my first joint of the day. The feeling of carelessness and happiness that comes with the first joint. The main pain would be continuous emotional pain that never gets dealt with. The weed suppresses it all. Paranoia and distorted thoughts. Overthinking and lack of action because of it. Analysis paralysis. Psychological addiction, it's a trap. Don't progress on activities, can't progress socially, emotionally, etc. Do not able to handle life situations, perceive the world in a false, modified way, waste my capacities. Not being able to cope with certain situations, every day is the same, dealing with all aspects of human life, natural, sober pains were numbed away with THC fadeness. Being the most unproductive person in the world and losing an extremely profitable business. Ouch. Blaming that life is shit without taking action. Isolation and lack of energy. Paranoia issues would have remained, leading to non-development of social circles and family. Plus I knew I should be stopping, so every time I lit one up, I'd mentally berate myself. Lack of sleep, lack of contentment, loss of appetite, sleep, mood swings, and sense of intense despair. I would become totally antisocial. Depression and anxiety, trouble sleeping. Can we see patterns, guys? Social, depression, anxiety, sleeping. These are all coming up time and time again. It's more of a habit than anything. I enjoy spliffs, and when I only smoke spliffs, I feel in control still. Although the reality is, I'm probably not. Bongs or shotties were where my weakness lay. I have moved house to try to escape its grip. And moving house is a weird one. You know, it is good to change your environment, but you've got to make sure you're not just doing the whole escapism thing, because wherever you go, there's going to be weed. Weed is everywhere. Regret of not knowing what or who I would have been if I quit. That's a really big one. Insomnia, self-realization, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. My mental well-being, wanting to quit but feeling I was unable to. Thank you for all your help in making me realize I could in fact quit. None. No motivation. Always wondering what if. I believe you called it shooting. I did. Shooting all over yourself. The money. Continue to feel like a slave to weed, failure in life, bad role model for my kid. Regret that I didn't achieve what I'm capable of. Loss of relationships, lack of motivation, not being present and not dealing with my feelings. Smoking contaminated low-quality marijuana and being unable to find anyone who understands that there is no consistency. I understand, buddy, but I don't care. Not knowing what I've missed out on in life by being in a daze all day. Physical and mental health problems. Guilt, depression, hazing, unfulfilled life. Shortened life, not there for my family. Not achieving anything. I'll never get to be who I really am. Feeling like I'm not in control of my life, being a slave to the weed addiction, having life slip away in a foggy daze, not connecting with my wife and kids, my comfort zone, my solo time. I feel healthier in body and to a degree mind without it. Never moving forward, not reaching my goals, being a slave to dependency, missing the feeling, the relaxed mood, how much better music sounds. I will not have a fulfilling life. I'll float through my life not remembering, not doing. I'm losing my ability to give and receive true love. If I don't quit, my disease of marijuana addiction will continue to isolate me so much from society and any loving relationship that I will eventually be alone. No friends, just people I know or have a business connection to. Weed calms me down, lessens stress. Never meeting the woman of my dreams. Not fulfilling my potential, to say the least. Not being able to relate to others in a realistic way. Negative life feedback. Financial freedom will never be available to me. Waste of time. Change of lifestyle. Boredom. Trying to relax and sleep. Feeling nothing. No joy. Short-term memory loss. The pain was all in the mind. Smoking was an avoidance, albeit a temporary one, to deal with things. Big things like relationships, career choices, to small things like getting an MOT for my car. The main pain was having to face dealing with things, not having an out of smoking that day and it all going away. Success at work, reaching full potential, making use of skills and training. I won't ever become the person that I want to be. Facing life and myself without a crutch. Physical and emotional distress, clarity, personal isolation, not being able to manifest my dreams into reality. Reduced intelligence, not really sure. Sacrificing my family and career. Boredom, the sense that I'm not being as fully myself as I'd like to be. Knowing that I'm not optimal and that I could end up with lung cancer. Doing nothing with my life. Dead living. Losing my driver's license and my memory and normal functionality of my brain. Question 5. What specific problems do you or did you experience when you quit weed or last tried to quit weed? You can choose one or more or add your own below. Well, from this graph we can see that the smallest one is trouble eating regularly and feeling a bit sick. The top ones we can see are feeling a bit depressed, and we did see that a whole bunch of times. And trouble sleeping naturally, we've seen that a lot of times. Feeling something is missing. So they're the main ones, but we also have some comments here. 29 comments. Anger, angry and obsessed. The headaches can be pretty bad at some points. See, some people mention headaches and some people don't. Trouble drinking alcohol on the weekends without wanting to finish it off with weed. I had to quit both primarily, which is what I recommend you do, and when initially quitting, I had trouble foregoing the quick fix change of state that marijuana provided, and I had to be alone with my thoughts and emotions. You had to be alone with your thoughts and emotions. Sweating at night, and I had a headache for about 2 weeks. One of the main problems I faced was my friends, the people I hung out with. They didn't want to lose a smoking buddy, therefore they would pull me down and make it very hard for me to quit. They would discourage the idea of quitting and start telling me that I should just cut down and not quit. I tried cutting down, but that never works. The best way for me to quit was to let go of the friends. For me, the pain of smoking weed was higher than the pleasure of having those friends. Very articulate thought. I was really depressed and really sick. Being around good, legit mates that like to smoke without giving in. Sweating. Always anxious and uncomfortably restless. Bored. Stressed out over business or family issues. Used it as a crutch to cure what ails me. Waking up early at 4 a.m. and not being able to go back to sleep. Irritable and impatient. Accepting that I can never touch weed again. The first few attempts I thought as soon as I'm not addicted, I could go back to smoking on the odd occasion. And that's the long-term trap, we call that, which is when you've forgotten how much you wanted to quit and you go back anyway. Wild thought streams, detoxing of insanity, psychedelic thought patterns, not taking anything seriously. Nothing, quit almost cold turkey and no trouble at all. Short fused, goofy, unfocused, paranoid, uncomfortable in my own skin. Saying stupid things, easily winded. Vision and mind blurred. Vivid dreams that disturb my sleep and piss me off when I wake up. Quick to temper and trouble sleeping, having a strategy in place to deal with these things was a lifesaver. Breaking the habit. Eating more, anxiety. Paranoia, racing thoughts, headaches, slight body aches, and I am bothered that it will stay in my system for so long after quitting. I am afraid. Question 6. Did you or do you mix your weed with tobacco? Yes, mostly tobacco was only 11. Yeah, about half-half was 15. And yeah, but mostly weed was 14%. Or 14, same thing. And 60% was no tobacco in my weed. So most people here don't even put tobacco in their weed, and they're still having problems quitting. So it's not tobacco. How did you or do you smoke your weed? Most of the time. Joint, paper, blunt, cigarette style was 46. Pipe or hash pipe, anything that doesn't have water, was 26. And bong, anything that you smoke that is a pipe that has water in it, that was 25. And just ate it, one dude. There's one guy here that just eats his weed. I hope he's got money. What mostly made you quit weed or want to quit weed? You can choose one or more or add your own below. For legal reasons was by far the least, only 13, and most was 81% for my mental health. Other high ones included change in lifestyle, physical health, but by far the biggest one was mental health. And again, we've got some comments here. My motivation is at an all-time high. Without weed, I believe I most likely would have a motivation level that would take me to great things in my life. In a sense, I do feel like it holds or has held me back from things. It was overwhelming my mind. Relationship with God and Jesus. Got tired of feeling a slave to it. Could not and did not want to leave the house without my weed. There was never enough, even if I got high and didn't feel anything. Always wanted more. Spiritual reasons. I was sleepy all the time, lack of achieving goals, paranoid and always suspecting friends and family, over-analyzing. Get motivated again, my daughter, to be better at everything. Sometimes when looking at an interview I would think, I couldn't do that. Weed stops me from achieving my goals. My young kids, I don't want them anywhere near pot or pot users dealers. I hated not spending quality time with them, palming them off as much as possible so I could get back to getting stoned. To not feel like a loser drug addict. Wanting badly to be working from home like you do, Seb, and smoking weed every night is not going to get me to where I want to go. Mainly because I felt dependent and didn't want to feel that anymore. Now I'm as dependent as ever and not even thinking about quitting. For my self-confidence. It was my time. Wanting to be more conscious and present around family and my kids. I got to the point where I was rolling a joint but I knew I didn't want to. It was a Saturday morning and I knew smoking a J would write off the day, but I did it anyway. I had no control beyond not smoking before or during work. Once I had the first one, I was high and unable to do anything else but smoke. I never want to suffer the trauma of losing my job and hurting my family again. I want to feel safe and secure. Did you smoke alone or socially? Only one person skipped it. 85 said alone. 14 said socially. And then the last final question, what else would you like training or help with in regards to quitting weed? What other training should we be providing that we've missed? So this is probably what I'm going to go through and try and make sure we have in the future. Video examples of situations where you're tempted, support, dealing with suppressed emotions, memories that rear their heads when the ganja isn't keeping them in check. Dunno, just keep it real. I quit 3 weeks ago, but before that did a lot of surfing the web and some points you made are spot on. That helped, thanks. Calling sessions. We're going to have calling sessions and they'll be in the members area really soon. I think it's important to be encouraged to change your habits and lifestyle. In my personal case, I had to quit smoking cigarettes and even the occasional coke hit, and even change the kind of people that I associate with. When you smoke or do drugs, you think that everyone does it. That is not true. Mental health and weed. I think you are doing a great job. Very happy to see that someone is doing this. I did not purchase your program because of my financial reasons. However, I kept listening to your free videos over and over again. I guess one more way to help people would be something with a bit lower cost. I know I sound really cheap, but when you are trying to quit weed using price, another way to not quit. Hope this helps, mate. Love from Canada, and thank you so much. You are doing a great job. Let me know if you need anything else. I will, friend. That's fantastic. I quit. I still get the urge now and then, and probably will end up having a joint at some point, but I already know I'll hate the feeling now, so it's no bad thing. Need to quit ciggies now and start an exercise regime, but one step at a time, eh? It has taken months to get the weed out of my system and start feeling normal again. Maybe a forum where people can support each other while they quit. We did have a thriving forum, but it kept getting massively inundated with spam, and I just turned it off. I don't need any training anymore because I understand my behavior and I control it. Method to get through the first 10 days. I feel that if I quit weed, then I'll lose my friends. I've seen what happened to people who never experimented with drugs. They all wear shirts and ties. That scares me more than anything. Becoming normal. You don't need to wear shirts and ties. You don't have to be like them. What to do? I get bored easily and need help refocusing on the important things in life. Patience training. Learning to be compassionate towards oneself in the process of quitting. Thanks for insisting. I don't know, this is an amazing program. I'm just too scared to quit yet. Well, you need to contact me. That's terrible. I honestly can't think of anything. The service you are providing is great. Helping being able to quit smoking when your partner still wants to smoke, without having to leave them in order to be smoke free. How to stop when it's still in your house and your husband or wife still smokes. That's a good point, thank you. Help falling asleep is the biggest problem I face. Your program helped me, thank you. There is no consistency, contaminated and or grown in poor conditions. There are no easy methods to consume it without heat. You would be the same guy from that other consistency comment. I'll bet. Wish there was a patch or something to help with cravings. Hypnotherapy, NLP. It is a great program and did help me a lot. I'm at the 3-month mark. However, I am started to feel tempted again now that I've made it this long. Maybe add a program to listen to after 90 days to reinforce the decision. Thank you, Seb. Thank you. That's a fantastic idea. And we've been thinking about putting in there, 30 days to change. And that will probably be in the back end pretty soon. The instant feeling of guilt after smoking up when I know I shouldn't. I'm sure it's very common that people develop paranoia and have a hard time controlling their running minds. I found comfort in hearing other people's struggles from online blogs and forums, such as the Uncommon Forum. It can feel like a real lonely journey. Need ongoing support in times of feeling low. Willpower, haha. And I think the reason you're laughing in there is because I dig at willpower a lot. I liked your program. It helped me when I needed it. I no longer need it. I'm casual now and not very often. Sometimes months without. I go back because when I'm always working I enjoy it after work, socially mostly. Life after quitting. My main problem was running into friends that smoked and smoking with them now I live in a different town. So this is not a problem for me and has made it easier to stay clean. So that's where changing your environment can really help, but if you're doing it purely for that reason, it is more often escapism. Well, from what I see, you have pretty much every base covered. Is it possible to be so healthy I don't need weed? Got a pill for surrender? Day 1 tomorrow, thanks for holding the torch. I now need to quit smoking cigarettes. Please help me if you have a program like the weed one. Your weed program saved me. Your site is fantastic and hearing other people's stories and encouragements was great. Didn't really think about weed for months, then crisis happened and is still happening and I'm back smoking. No amount of training is going to help me right now because the weed is keeping me sane and helping me cope. You all done and are doing a great job with this program. Nothing else, the course was amazing and it changed my life for the better. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have more customers in here than I thought there would be. Specifics in deblurring the brain. I have read forums. It can take from 4 to 11 months, but with exercise and detox habits. How to get away from wanting the outlet. Example, I don't drink and I like to have a little help relaxing at the end of the day. It was really hard for me to watch my husband and friends get to enjoy a beer or a joint and not to be able to have something like that for myself. It can also be very empowering to know that you don't need something when other people do. Nothing I could think of. Thanks for ongoing support and great understanding, sharing your personal experience of addiction to weed. I have had lots of counselling to help stop weed, but I think what you have is solid. I will say, I do love these long ones, guys. I really go through them, but they're too long for now. How to help others who need or want to quit. That's good. More ways to connect with other quitters or wannabe quitters. Social media of past and present smokers. Mentor, sponsors, someone I can turn to. Strongly advise people that if they are unsuccessful at quitting multiple times, they should seek professional help. Overcoming the mind. My son died and I started smoking again. It is my sanity. I'm sorry to hear that, mate. I have been to too many funerals in my time. My heart goes out to you. A couple notes. I did not smoke weed, but rather used a vaporizer to vaporize it. I did occasionally use your bong. Your program, along with a powerful addiction mantra, worked for me. If you want, I'll share the mantra with you. Just email me at... So that's it for the survey, guys. They're the results. I hope you enjoyed going through it with me. There were some ups and downs in there, wasn't there? If you want to do the new survey, we always have a survey open. It's at quit-weed.com/survey. And if you would like to hear more videos and more training and more free stuff from me personally, check out quit-weed.com/goods, GOODS. The link for that is directly under the video. Please like this video if it helped you in any way. Please share it with anyone that you think it could help. Otherwise, I will talk to you again soon.